All right, and welcome back. And if you're still with me, that's great. You haven't quit yet. Hopefully, you're starting to understand sort of the basics of what we're going to be doing to build this site. We're going to go into index and we're going to start setting up our hero title, which will be the next thing that we want to dress up to make look good on this site. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the hero class, as you can see right here. And I'm going to put a div inside of that one, and I'm going to make a class, and I'm going to call it hero title. This is going to affect just the text within that. I'm going to take the closing div, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to put it down here under the where the text ends. Okay, and I'm just going to tab things over. I like to make it look sort of neat and organized. Helps me visually. And I'm going to change the title here to say, Welcome to Paradise. We can leave the lorem ipsum text, that's fine. I'm going to save that. We'll see it update on the side here. We are going to make this text look much better because, as you can tell, it is pretty much impossible to read on top of that image. We are going to actually adjust this text within hero title. Whoops, I just realized I didn't have to have two there. We're going to have this text that's within here look really, really good in a moment using classes again. This time we're going to be affecting the text. I'm going to show you some cool stuff we can do with that. So let's head over to our CSS. Make sure you got this saved, by the way. Go to your CSS. Now, we had just created the hero class earlier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create the hero title class. And again, because it's only that text that's inside of that class, we are going to be affecting basically everything within that window within the hero title. So let's do it. Let's first of all change the color of the text. Now, this is a real simple tag to learn. You just do color. And when you do that, you're going to get a selection of colors. Or you can type a color. So if I put white, for example, it's going to create a block with that color. Now, this is what I really like about Visual Studio. I'm going to show you this right now. We're going to talk a little bit about colors here. If you click this block, okay, and you go in this selector, you can change the color to whatever you want. And you'll notice here you also have a slider for transparency, which I really love. So what it'll do is it'll change it from an RGB value, which gives you color, to an RGBA, which includes alpha, which means transparency. So in this case, I'm just leaving it as white, but I want you to be aware of this window because we're going to use it a lot coming up here in a sec. So there we go. Now we got it set to white. We're going to save it, and you're going to see that the text turns white. But it still looks really, really bad. It's hard to see. So now let's affect the background color of that div. Okay, so remember now it's all contained within hero title. So we can go background color and we can do the same thing. Let's just put white to start. I always do that. And then let's go and change it. Now we're going to go here and I'm going to set it to black by going down to the bottom left corner. Okay, so if I was to just click off of this and save that, you're going to see now we have a black block behind it. It looks really horrible, by the way. Let's adjust the transparency so we can see a little bit of the picture through it. So I'm going to actually pull this down, and I'm going to go to 70.7. Basically, this is a percentage out of 100. It doesn't have to be exact. But this number, if 1.0 is 100%, anything less than that, this is 71%. So if I save that, you're going to see that we are at 71% opacity, which allows us to sort of see through to the picture behind there a little bit, which is kind of cool. Let's go to the next line. One thing you'll notice that I absolutely hate is that the text goes right to the edge. Horrible. If you remember from the last tutorial, how did we fix that? We put some padding. Okay, and this number you can adjust. I'm going to go with just 10 pixels. We don't need a lot of padding. And what that's going to do is going to give us a little bit of space on the left side, bottom, up and down. And now we've got a little bit of padding to make our picture look a little better. Anyways, looks a little better. And I don't like that this hero title block goes all the way across the page. Okay, I'm not a fan of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, how about we take the width of this block and we set it to 75%, which means that, let me show you, if I save that, the box now only takes 75% of the page. No matter what size this block or this window changes, this block that we created is always going to take up 75% of the width of the page. Okay, which is kind of nice because you'll notice that the box automatically, the height changes automatically based on the size of the page. Okay, pretty great. Now, one thing I haven't shown you guys yet, which I think is pretty useful, is the actual ability to edit objects within a class. Okay, so even though right now we are affecting everything within that class, we can affect just one part of the class. Let's say we only wanted to affect the paragraph tag. Okay, if you remember, this lorem ipsum is inside of a p tag, a paragraph tag. Let's say we only wanted to affect that. So let's go down here to the next line. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put hero title. This time we're going to put a P because now we are affecting the p tag. Curly bracket. Let's say we wanted to adjust the amount of space between each line of text. So what we could do for that is line height, and then we can adjust that number by pixels. I'm going to say, let's go 30 to start. Save it. You should see that the text spaces out more. Let's say I don't like that. Maybe I want to go 20. I don't know. Now they get closer together. Maybe I'm going to find sort of a spot in between at 25, and that looks good to me. All right, I like that. Now, one thing we can get rid of now, because we are kind of like, I feel like I'm happy with this nav and the way, or not, sorry, this hero image, and I'm happy with the way that it looks for now. I'm going to remove this border. Remember this border that we put up here from before? Let's wipe it out. Okay, we don't need that right now. We're going to save that, and we're now going to have a nice clean edge, no black border between the rest of the page and that block, and that's going to look really good. Okay, so let's save it there, and we're going to carry on in the next one. We're going to look at a nav bar, and that's where things start to get a little tricky, but I think we'll be fine. I think you guys should be able to handle it no problem. Okay, so save what you're doing and carry on with me in the next one.